On June 12th, for financials, I approved appropriations transfer in the general fund from the commissioners, miscellaneous transfers out to the administrative fees accounts for an encumbrance increase, and an encumbrance increase from the commissioner's office for attorney Todd Raskin. And also on June 12th, for the Department on Aging, I approved the promotion of Carrie Skritic to the position of full-time recreation and education coordinator to be effective June 24th, 2024 at the rate of $24.02 per hour with a 180-day probationary period, and further approved increasing the current posting for the position of full-time recreation and education assistant from 2 to 3 positions. These positions will remain posted until filled.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the first part about Todd Raskin?
It was an encumbrance increase from the commissioner's office for attorney Todd Raskin. To pay the bill, if it comes out that we need to pay the bill for the additional bill for the outside counsel that was provided to the witnesses in the Tim Grindell hearing down in Columbus.
Okay.
That was approved. That was approved appropriately through a joint application to the board between the commissioners and the prosecutor.
Okay.
To the courts, not the board.
And so the encumbrance is?
The encumbrance is that would be to make the payment to Mr. Raskin.
Mm-hmm. And haven't we already paid Mr. Raskin's law firm?
We're working through that right now because there was an error in the payment. The payment went actually to Masnick, Raskin, and Ryder, and not to Todd Raskin. We're in Masnick. We had talked with Masnick. Masnick had said they were going to provide the money to Mr. Raskin, but we're still trying to work that out and make sure that he got paid. This was just in case he didn't get paid and we owed him.
So is Mr. Raskin a separate entity from his law firm? Does he work separately?
He is a separate entity in this case.
And he bills separately?
And he bills separately, yes. Just somehow when it got processed, the payment got processed to Masnick, Raskin, Ryder.
Do you have a
Mr. Raskin?
round number off the top of your head, how much to date they've spent on this?
I do not have that off the top of my head, I apologize.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see,
I can get you that.
you know, for the public to see, I guess, too, to see how far along we are on that. And see all the, you know, that there are plenty of outside counsels that go on, you know, with little fanfare. And
Off the top of my head, I couldn't say exactly what it is, but I can get that.
Okay, appreciate it. All right, thanks, Sid, or Jerry.
So I'll need a motion for minutes on the 14th and the 21st of May.
So move. Second.
Commissioner Wonder?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, today's financials include a supplemental appropriations request by the treasurer and the general fund treasurer payroll accounts to provide for a raise granted to the chief deputy treasurer. Among the encumbrances are then and now from the commissioner's office to Carly Laura Snavely for appointed council fees from 2022 that were not previously encumbered, and a formal contract PO for maintenance to Meridian Construction Services Incorporated for the auditor's office basement restroom remodel project. Among the vouchers are $588,901.88 from the commissioner's office to Infinity Construction Company for pay request number 8 of the courthouse expansion project, $86,814 from the sheriff's office to Tim Lally Chevrolet for 2 2023 Chevy Tahoe replacement patrol vehicles, and $51,796 to Ganley Chevrolet of Aurora LLC for a 2024 Chevy Tahoe 4x4 replacement vehicle for the sheriff. And finally, $49,995 from the Water Resources to Junction Auto Sales Incorporated for a 2024 GMC 2500 HD 4-wheel drive double cab operator vehicle truck. And again, from the encumbrance, the 2014 GMC Sierra 1500 that is replacing will be auctioned on GovDeals.
So I guess we can discuss the supplemental appropriation for the treasurer's office. There was a request from the treasurer, I guess, separate from his budgeted amount for this year for his
Yes.
deputy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And I did see an email, or actually I got, I think, just a text message from the treasurer, just asking me to support it, I guess. It's more, I didn't see any details as far as,
I did send an
Yeah.
email out, just
Yeah.
kind of indicating where Caroline Mansfield, who is
Mhm.
his chief deputy,
Yeah.
was at as far as her place in compensation countywide with other chief deputies of other elected officials.
Mhm.
And she was the lowest paid chief deputy in the county by a good $15 per hour.
Mhm.
So
That's interesting. I wonder how that gets along for those many years. I mean, who's paying attention to her salary, and now all of a sudden we're,
I don't know if it was as much as paying attention
I mean,
to
isn't
her
every-
salary, or if other chief deputy salaries were getting increased.
yeah, I think that might be the
So-
case as well.
Yeah.
And it does seem like a trend here in the last, say year and a half here. Not to say that Ms. Mansfield isn't deserving of it, but it does seem that there's been this monumental trend to give the higher ups in these departments some monumental increases, not just in Geauga County, but I'm saying across the board. There's been some big leaps forward in salaries. We've got quite a few now that are making well over $100,000 a year, which is, as long as I've been here, that's new.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I guess for the public's purpose here today, what type of, or do you have a percentage increase, or is there a dollar amount increase for this salary?
It, I mean, it's significant. So understanding that she was paid less than other chief deputies by about $15 an hour, he is seeking an additional $9.85 an hour for her.
Mhm. And what does that come out to roughly? I mean, I guess, I would think that the treasurer would be here to present this to the board. Not that I'm not necessarily not in agreement that there's, and I think there's actually a couple other positions, in this county that need to be adjusted, like yours. I would argue that yours is probably one of the most important positions in this county as far as having financials that are done correctly and somebody that knows what's going on in this county.
Yeah, she was making in the $33 range, and he's gonna be paying her like 42, so something like that, so. If I'm remembering the numbers correctly.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I'm not necessarily against it.
They budget, they do not budget any fluff. I mean, some
agree.
departments have managed to do
let's be
these.
honest, she runs that office.
Yeah. Yeah, and they budget so close, they don't budget, some of these other departments that have done this because they manage to pad their budgets in places where they can move money around.
Right.
They split people amongst different funds.
Like, for example, there's been, over the last year, the commissioners have agreed to do a 3% increase last year, and again, going forward into 2025, correct?
Next January.
Yep. And, which is a big, if you add up the last 3 years, you're getting close to, well, and I think we even did a 5% the year before.
There's a 5 and a 3 again in January.
So,
another 3.
we're getting up there, but I guess my concern is when I see, and I guess we don't have any control over that from the standpoint we can't, other elected officials could do whatever they want as far as paying their employees whatever they want and have to be responsible for that, although it seems to go somewhat unnoticed in the public. But I think there's been some cases over the last year where certain offices are giving out well above the 3% increase that we've approved for certain individuals. Now, maybe they're not giving this person a raise and giving this person a larger raise. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's kind of up to them, the way they want to do it. But if it goes out, if they're painting outside the lines of what we budgeted for that year and we have to amend their budget for it, this goes into the larger discussion that we had last week. I have an issue with, I get it, the revenue has been off the charts for the last couple of years, but for some reason in government, we correlate our expenses with our revenue, that they have to just, for some reason, go along together. Like if this was a company, we'd be taking that money and either paying down debt with it, or saving that money,
Or we did.
or investing back in
We're in the
ourselves.
midst of two
Yeah.
we're at the end of this one,
Yeah.
and at the beginning still probably technically of the courthouse project. And we managed to do that
Yep,
without raising taxes.
absolutely, like, we've done some,
So-
and that's from years of,
Yeah.
good stewardship, conservative budgeting.
Right.
And all those years, but, I've seen the requests, I guess, over the years, and it seems as though a lot of these big raises have already been put in place and gone out in some of
Right.
these other offices, so now they're coming back for 2025, like sniffing around, like, where are we gonna get the money to pay for these raises that are well above what we, as in the commissioner's hiring authority, was a 3% increase.
Yeah, I mean, if the revenue begins to plateau in any way, I mean, there will be a reckoning
Yeah.
where,
Yeah.
that we're gonna need to seriously look at some expenses that have been even encouraged through service contracts or
Yeah.
what have you, that, maybe there are some luxuries that we're paying for right now that
And I get
we'll be able to
it,
continue.
the price of rice has gone up, to operate has
Exactly.
gone up.
Yes.
Business, everything costs more money, I get that, and we've budgeted for some of those increases. We tried to have some foresight in what the going rate for salaries would be. We've tried to correct, really, my opinion has been trying to correct the real low-end part of our pay scale.
Right.
And trying to get that up to reality, like a living wage, basically. But, unfortunately, when you bring this end up, this end goes flying up too,
Yeah.
So,
And I have to hand it to the treasurer. I mean, like I said, he budgets conservatively, so when he does
Absolutely.
things like this, he has to come to us.
Yep.
Whereas,
No.
other people don't have
I
to.
appreciate that, I do, and I'm not picking on the treasurer
Right, no,
or
I understand.
anybody in particular.
Right,
I'm just saying, I am concerned with the direction and the trajectory that we're on. The way I look at it is, in this county, we provide a service and provide, and it takes a lot of manpower. Our biggest expense and investment is back into our employees, I think, right?
yes.
We're not pumping out widgets or making, looking to make a profit necessarily, but,
Government and service industries, similar to us, their number one expenses
right.
is.
But my thing is, we did, the year before, and then the year before that, and then the years before that, we were able to provide those services, and I think in a pretty good fashion, across the board, all these different things, get the job done at, say, X amount of dollars. But now, just because revenue has been, tracking sales taxes, sales revenues off the chart, everything's, we're getting property taxes coming flying in here that I argue we don't even need, okay? But you see our expenses go right with it. Like,
Right.
to me, it should be like, listen, we can still get the job done and, maybe give everyone a bump and still pay and get everything done, but we don't have to follow this line. And if we're collecting too much revenue, the conversation we should be having is, how are we getting the money back to the residents of this county?
Right.
That's the conversation, not how much money can we spend or
Right, and we've done that,
Yeah.
we've done that for this year
Yeah.
with the reduction of the levies for jailhouse.
Absolutely, and I think, from a standpoint from the commissioner's office and all of our directors and under our hiring authority, everyone has followed along suit to that. Everyone has tried to paint within the lines, and I get it, the
Right.
cost of business has gone up, like sheriff's office, their vehicles have gone up, their fuels have gone up, they're having to pay these guys more to get them to come here. I mean, it's just the fact of life, but there's certain points in, and I've talked to you over the last couple weeks about this,
Yeah.
consistently. Some of the things I'm seeing in there, and it may feel like we're picking on one over the other, but I see things in there that need to either be, I don't know. I don't know how, I guess, I'm just not comfortable with some of these large salary increases that just continue to go on year after year. And it's usually the high end part of it is what's been uncomfortable for me to watch, I guess. And a lot of it happens, when we're gonna give a raise here, the three of us have to decide, yes, we're gonna, or two of us are gonna have to decide to do it. and then it's in the public the next Tuesday for everyone to see. But it seems as though there's other offices that can, and unbeknownst to me, I hear through the grapevine that, so Joe Smith is making $108,000 now or something. It's like, when was that memorialized? And where's the money coming from to pay for that? If it's outside the 3% that we approved as a county?
Well, what department or courts has the highest paid chief deputy?
Well, I guess if you're going to include the courts in that, then it'd probably be Kim Laurie from the juvenile probate court.
Okay,
So,
just wondered.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's been making that for many, many years, that amount. I mean, I'm talking about, there's been some recently in the last year here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are more people in that 100,000 range than I've ever seen before.
Yeah, and we've,
Not that that's, I mean, the cost of living's gone up, the cost of employment.
I get it. I've
has
heard
gone
all
up.
the-
It wouldn't be unusual to see that, but
Yeah.
the quickness in which it happens, that was probably the main.
I mean, it's something else, the commissioners have, over the years, like, for example, JFS has had a problem for years, right, Craig, trying to get people to come work for you for just, what I believe was almost impossible to get, somebody full-time.
Requiring a 4-year degree.
Yeah, and so what we did back, 4 or 5 years ago, and now that's probably been blown out of the water, what we did back then, but what we did back then was we adjusted that group that you thought were being underpaid, and we corrected it, and so on and so on. But it's like when we throw a kind of a wet blanket over the entire county's payroll, it could have some positive effects, but I think it has some negative effects too, when we just do it as in unison. And I appreciate, there's been discussion as to try and get a new system in place. And, Linda's been working on this with the directors, and I appreciate it, because the pay scale and the way it is now, I still, after all these years, I can't, explain it to anybody how that thing operates. Or what, just because a calendar year goes by and I'm still breathing or something, I don't know why you go up the thing,
But we've studied water resources and made corrections along the way. too.
Yep, water resources was a good one. Yep, there was another one that was, and, but I guess, I am ranting here a little bit right now, but I guess what my big concern is the revenue and expenses, the way they are tracking, and what I see, and I won't be here for it, I got one foot out the door as far as that goes. But the way these things are escalating, it's on a percentage that I'm not comfortable with, because if the music stops, and there's a pretty good chance something's gonna happen, there's no way this thing can continue, people can keep spending at these rates, then what? So I hope everybody's comfortable taking a big step backwards or whatever,
Yeah, and that is something that we're continuing to watch, even this year.
Yeah.
Making sure that revenue streams that we budgeted at certain amounts are continuing to come in, because you don't want to get too far down the road bringing in less revenue without being prepared to make some adjustments.
That's right. And I know there's been this trend, from, say, the Budget Commission, talking to townships and even to the county to spend, right? Spend it all. If you got it, spend it. Well then, and I'm not saying the townships have too much money, but we certainly, I think, when you looked at some of the carryover with the ARPA money, the money we've set aside for this building, and then set aside for, say, the courthouse building, and then going on forward to maintain and, keep those buildings up and running.
Over the last 4 years, you can't deny that there's been a tremendous amount of money poured into the economy
Yeah.
by the
Oh,
federal
yeah.
government.
Yep. But, everybody's kind of fat and happy right now, and that's been the thing in Geauga County. We've been very fortunate, I guess, depending on what side of the table you're looking at, but that we haven't had to really tighten up our belts like some other counties have. There's been some, where they've had to make some pretty major cuts. Every year, unfortunately, we've been able to provide raises and so on, and still get the job done. I guess my question is, we should be talking about what that is, how much it costs to run this county versus how much money's coming in, how much should we spend this year? And those two should not be crisscrossing each other either.
Right. Well, we're continuing, obviously, to make adjustments and look at things in the 2025 budget. So we have that opportunity to do that now.
Okay.
So,
All right.
And I think we're on our way to making some meaningful adjustments.
Yes, I do.
So,
I do, and you've done a very good job over the years at trying to juggle that. What do you guys want to do with Carolyn Mansfield as far as, are you comfortable with her this raise? I don't even know I don't know what the dollar amounts is, I don't know how much more, I haven't seen it. All I got was a text from the treasurer saying, Carolyn's a great employee and I hope you support me. Which, that's great, but I would think that he would be here to kind of lay this out for us.
unfortunately, he is out of the country, so,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
He's actually in Canada.
Yeah.
That's
That's why she's earning the big bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just the reality of it, unfortunately for Carolyn, the reality is our treasurer is never here.
No.
He pretty much, he has a residency here, and he's got his permanent residency here, I think just because of the fact that he's elected official. But he is, you hear it from everybody, and to his own admission, I talked to him probably 3 months ago out there, and I said, everybody says you're never here, and he said, I'm not. But the reality is he's totally out of touch because he's got a good employee like Carolyn that has run cover for him all the time and pretty much runs the office. She, as far as I'm concerned, is the treasurer of this county, not Chris, because she really pays attention to what's going on and does a great job there. So, and what he's basically done is he's missed a lot of this because he truly doesn't, he doesn't know really what's going on. He comes in, gets briefed on his numbers, has his, the other financial group that does a lot of the investments and gives him, financial advice on where the investments should go and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, Carolyn is really the person that's doing the job. And I think it's unfortunate because he's negated, a lot of what he's probably should have been paying attention to. And I would argue with him all day long. It's just the truth. He's not here.
I guess my question would be, how did it get this far behind?
Yeah, because I don't think he's paying attention.
Yeah, so.
And
What about the rest of the office? Is there any discussion as far as, I know we have budget hearings with the treasurer, but how are their salaries in comparison to now Carolyn's or to their peers? Or
I think, I didn't do a study of their
Okay.
wages, obviously, but.
that's kind of his job is to do that.
Correct,
I think,
yeah. Looking at the breakdown, it seems like everybody is, there's parity within the department and with similar positions outside the treasurer's office. So, but I would imagine that they're probably looking at options for their other employees.
Yeah. See, it's just, here we go. This is like, I'm just saying.
yes, this just kind of starts the wheel going.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Be prepared. This thing's going up.
right. And, I support this action for Carolyn because I know what she does.
Yeah.
And I know that she's pretty much running the place.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is what it is. But as far as you'll see, he's, failed to see what Carolyn's doing, and he's probably failed to see what everybody else is doing too. So this is just, he's not engaged,
Yep.
It's
All right.
unfortunate because voters don't sometimes understand
Nobody
that.
sees that.
So,
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the financials for June 18th.
second?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
thanks for, sorry for going on and on, but
No, it's okay.
I just, this is, you know, this has kind of been on my
Your purview,
mind
that's what
for
this
for
is
like
all
6
about.
months now, like this thing's been kind of been watching this go.
Hashing it
No,
out.
and I appreciate you
Yeah.
being candid, Tim,
Yeah.
I do, because it's like, it's stuff that sometimes needs to be said. So
Yeah.
I respect what you said, and I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
When we do the airport one?
I guess.
Okay, because I don't think.
I was looking around, he's not here.
He's not here. So the next item is for the airport authority. They're requesting that you approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the request for partial payment number 1 for Kenny Horror Construction Company for the Hangar 1 improvement project in the amount of $134,754.40.
So moved.
Do we have the prevailing wage reports?
They're in here, Jim. They're in
Okay.
here. They're in the
I'll second the motion,
They were
but I
sent to
think-
you when that was scanned.
Nick did approve them.
Because Nick,
Okay.
what Nick has been
Is he our guy?
diligently working
Okay.
on them with Kenny Horror to get all of the paperwork in and corrected for what he's been doing. And he finally got scheduled to be able to go out.
Yeah, 'cause it's got
What's over a certain amount?
Okay.
So they had to make some corrections?
Yes, he asked for additional paperwork. He went back and forth with Lindsay, who handles it in their office. She's new to doing it, so they were going back and forth. So yes, in the packet, you'll see that under the motion letter, there's a letter from, you can find this to Jim, so you have to go look at it. Underneath that email, there's a paperwork from Nick that he provided. That I did include with the scan when I sent it to you. That was Adrian reviewing. So I have a motion, did you second?
I second.
Okay. Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adrian. Morning. Jump out of any planes lately?
I'll be there Saturday. Come on out.
I know, your pictures. I live vicariously through you.
I welcome you all to join me anytime.
And
I'll come watch it.
I will cheer you on.
Item number 7 today, the county engineer's office requesting the board approve and execute the use price contract with CMG Contracting LLC for the embankment stabilization of Gem Road Bridge and for the Bundaberg Road Bridge. Those are in Chester and Parkview Township. Total contract is $129,980.
Okay, so moved.
Second?
Commissioner Lemon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
And just to be clear, that Bundaberg Bridge, that's a different bridge than the one.
No, it's the one that we did.
Oh.
There's an area like downriver
Okay,
where between the new bridge.
where the old bridge was.
Well, there's actually the old bridge and then there's the older bridge downstream. There's an area where the river is starting to cause erosion. So we're bringing in like 2 to 4 ton limestone boulders
Gotcha.
to armor that embankment so it doesn't
Okay.
do further damage.
So that's in Parkman, huh? I thought that was Middlefield, that it.
Yeah, no, it's almost Ashtabula County,
It is.
Trumbull County actually
Yep.
down there, but yeah, it's right near the
Okay.
county line.
All right, great. Thank you.
All right?
Yep.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.
Hi, good morning.
Right.
I'm requesting permission to advertise for the position of social services worker. That's full-time. That is a current position on the org chart that is vacant due to the promotion of our social services worker to social services coordinator, Michelle Warren.
Very good. So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Lemon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Glenn?
Morning, all. Items 9 and 10, we went out for a bid for HVAC maintenance. for the county office building here. The first, we got 3 bids in. The first one that came in as the lowest was, they did not meet the requirements for the bid bond, so we're asking to have them removed, and then also go ahead and request to hire Air Force One. This is broke down by the years of how much it'll cost, and then that comes out to about $59,000. We went ahead and added 50,000, so if we find something that breaks, we can automatically get it fixed. And that's why it's up to the 109,000.
Okay.
So is that for just this building and this
Yes.
building alone?
Yes,
Mm.
this one is, yes.
Okay. I mean, it sounds great. Is there not a thought of dealing with a general that, or maybe it's better to have a couple irons in the fire, different companies helping, but trying to go out for bid on a service contract for the entire county?
Right. When we go out to bid, we're going into different areas like the Hill, right? Right now, we're getting out paperwork together, but I don't want to add 470, not knowing where we're going to go with it. So there's a lot of remedies in there. So we're just trying to break it.
So, okay. So who's up on the square doing that service contract?
It'll be the Square, and that's about it.
No, but who's the,
Oh, we don't have it. We're working on that paperwork right now.
oh, okay. Mm, Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So moved.
Second?
And that was on 9 and 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
11 and 12, we went out to bid also. This is for the south. The south takes care of the dog warden, DES, county home, youth home, Patterson Center, and the West G Jaga Senior Center. So this bid will take care of those buildings.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I see.
So once again, the lowest bid came in, but their bid bond was not correct. So we're asking to have them removed and then go ahead and hire S&A coming out. They were the next lowest and best bid.
Okay, very good. So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Number 13, got a custodian, did 2 interviews with him. Seems like a very young, energetic person, so
Good.
I'd like to hire him as a custodian. Charles Knickerbocker.
Very good. Now, is this a replacement or is this a new hire?
It's
A replacement for somebody that's left?
good.
Yeah.
Really haven't had anybody leave lately.
Okay.
We're still 3 short.
In short, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Very
trying to
good.
hit that.
Okay, very good. So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Lennon?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yeah, no,
What
it's good.
section of the county will he be working?
We wanted to get him up on the hill.
Okay.
Yes. So, get that going up there. So,
As far as the, to kind of back up, the bathroom project at the Opera House, correct? In the basement? Is it-
No, it's
Annex.
Or is it going to the annex or Opera House?
Annex.
Okay. And that's being run through maintenance, right? Correct? Not through the auditor's budget?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, because there's been a Attorney General's opinion just happened in Lake County, the same thing with other offices trying to budget physical work to buildings. And that's a no-no. Everything, all that type of work comes through the commissioner's office and then through the maintenance. So I just want to be clear that that's what's happening.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is, we are doing that.
Okay.
I think this morning, the finances just went through, so we'll be giving them a call.
Okay.
saying we need to get going. on
Good.
this. So it's that area down there by that bathroom.
Sounds good. So, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was in here as one of those, and then outside.
Who's that?
14.
The next item deals with the risk-sharing authority incorporated with Corsa. This is just the participation agreement, approving the participation agreement, and then further acknowledging the insurance program renewal and payment of $478,928 for the period of May 1st, 2024 to April 30th, 2025.
Yes, okay, so move.
I second the motion, but what percentage did it go up?
I want to say last year's was like 402.
Did it?
And then we had to do an amendment to add this bullet.
Send us.
So like we did it and then we did an amendment